All right, Pickle, one last thing to do today, and that is
ranking season.
We watched 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 12.
Yes, math.
UIL Texas high school football games out there at AT&T Stadium in Arlington. 12 state champions crowned. And we want to talk about the games.
Yeah.
We want to rank them. And the way that we're going to rank these is as far as a neutral fan enjoying the game, a neutral fan being compelled by this game.
I have named them neutral fan excitement rankings.
Neutral fan excitement rankings,
yes.
Basically. Obviously, look, if you're a Lorena fan, I know what your favorite game of the weekend was.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're a North Shore fan, I know what your favorite game of the weekend was. On the other side, if you are a Brock fan, I know what your least favorite game of the week was. Right? We're talking from a neutral perspective. We're going to rank the 12 UIL Texas High School Football State Championship games in 2021. And thanks to our friends at Bally Sports Southwest, we can show you a key play from each of them. And so we'll start with number 12.
Second down. Toss back, following a block, and then breaking free. Say goodnight to this one. Grayson Rigdon, 79 yards for the touchdown. And that's as far as you can go in six-man football. 79.
Number 12, the 1A Division II state championship game. Strawn 73, Motley County 28.
Mm-hmm.
One of the more shocking results, I think. We thought this was going to be a bit of a shootout, and we thought this was going to be
back and forth,
functionally pretty close. But in the end, it ends via 45-point mercy rule in the third quarter. About 3 minutes left. I want to say about 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah, the way that this game went, we were surprised that it didn't happen at halftime or right after halftime, to be honest with you.
So Motley County took the ball first. And they score. I want to say they maybe exchanged stops, but then Motley County, or no, maybe they didn't. I don't know. In any case,
this is going great.
Motley County scored first. They go up 8-0 on a Jake Richards touchdown catch.
Mm-hmm. A name that you've probably heard before. We were like, oh, he's doing his thing again.
And then Strawn scored the next 36 points, and the game was over. Basically,
yes,
they're 36-8. A wave from the Greyhounds. And it was all about one dude in a lot of ways. About Grayson Rigdon, the freshman, the superstar freshman, who was the offensive MVP of the game. He was spectacular. And the defense stood up. The defense, one of the questions we had was this Strawn defense, which has been beat up at times, were they going to be able to find a way to slow down Jake Richards in this rushing attack? They absolutely were. In fact, Motley County had to go to the air. Motley County said, you know what, we're going to drop back and try to throw. And Strawn was ready for it. Gave a lot of credit to Lorenzo Garcia, the defensive MVP. They came away with a great victory. Strawn wins their 5th title under Dwayne Lee and does it in fashion. They settle the debate. They are the number 1 team in 1A Division 2. There's no doubt about it. It's the 12th ranked game in my
and
rankings.
the fact that Rigdon is a freshman is scary.
Oh, yeah.
For the rest of the six-man community.
Scary. That man is a bad man.
He's
a bad man. Number 11.
Elston really is like a number 2 receiver who could be a number 1 receiver on just about any other team in the state. That's because Coy Aiken is the number 1 receiver for Stephenville. Off the slant, Aiken has his 3rd touchdown. 43 yards.
Man-to-man coverage on Aiken. Wide side of the field, a beautiful throw by Lambert, and a better catch and run by Coy Aiken. My goodness, what a half.
Stephenville, 38. Austin LBJ, 21 in the 4A Division I state championship game. This was the Coy Aiken show. This kid was unbelievable. He was so good.
In literally every phase of the ball.
We knew he was really good.
Yeah, he was Mr. Texas football semifinalist.
He saved his best for last. He was unbelievable in this game. He ends up finishing with, I have the stats right here. He ends up finishing 9 catches, 187 yards, and 3 touchdowns, and he also ran for a touchdown.
Not to mention, he had one of the wildest plays that we saw all weekend.
He had one of the plays of the weekend.
Yeah.
Stephenville's in control, but Ryder Lambert throws an interception to Noah Brown in the end zone. Noah Brown's taken out of the end zone. Coy Aiken, who is the intended receiver, comes up, punches it out of of Noah Brown's hands into the awaiting arms of...
It was number 88, or number 8.
Of Kalen Kimbrough, who takes it back for a touchdown. A remarkable individual effort there. But let's also give credit to the Stephenville defense.
Yes.
Who we had questions as to whether or not they were going to be able to handle the team speed from LBJ, and they were. Their linebackers were excellent in this game. Excellent, excellent, excellent. The elephant in the room here is that LBJ fumbled 4 times the first quarter. And it kind of snowballed on them.
Yep.
And they were down 17-0 at the end of the first quarter. That's what made this kind of disappointing. Stephenville took an early lead, and they were able to kind of hold on from there.
Because LBJ had a really good third quarter.
And I want to be clear. Stephenville's the better team. The fumbles are not necessarily – I don't know if that necessarily changed the winner of the game, but it would have been a different kind of game. I thought Stephenville was the better team, but LBJ put the ball on the turf 4 times. And in the end, they come away with another state championship victory. You feel great for Sterling Doty. They had a big crowd, too. You feel great for Sterling Doty, who is an alum who won 2 state championships there as a player, now gets one as a coach.
And he was fired up.
He was fired up.
He was
and
fired
every
up.
reason to be. I saw him before the game. I went up and I shook his hand, and he was very you could tell how much it meant for him to bring Stephenville here. You could tell. Anyway.
And we've got clips of him dancing afterwards, so
great.
Enjoy.
Anyway, Stephenville over LBJ is number 11. Number 10!
So they go to Doug Brooks. 119. Has to worry about that. Here he goes. Look at Brooks run. Doug Brooks taking on would-be tacklers and just shoving them out of the way all the way down to the 40-yard line. He rumbles, and I do mean rumbles, for 47 yards.
Doug Brooks, a vulgar display of power.
Speaking of big, how about one more big run from Doug Brooks, fighting O'Shields, leaving O'Shields. Now to Will Scott. Can he bring him down? He does. But one more huge run from Doug Brooks, 78 yards.
The Leviathan is loose. Doug Brooks catches it, just getting a little bit of a lead there. Just a lead dive, and he breaks into the open tackle. There's that stiff arm we've come to know. He's off to the races. A mastodonic run from the big fella, putting a capper.
Shiner 47, Hawley 12, in a game ruined by the color commentator.
Hard agree.
This game was very different in the first...
Literally until
the first 22 minutes of the game.
Until the Doug Brooks touchdown right before halftime.
It's
like a minute
14-12 into the final minute of the first half. And then Doug Brooks runs for a 28-yard touchdown run that put up 21-12. And Craig Way and I kind of looked at each other and were like, this is going one way.
There was a collective sigh of relief on the sideline when Doug Brooks scored that touchdown right before the halftime.
And this was another game that we thought, okay, one team is going to have like Hawley. We thought Hawley was overmatched in this game. They had stomach for the fight, and they came in and threw some haymakers in this game.
Yeah, and they could throw the ball really well, which is something we hadn't seen from them.
Deontay Ramon had a long touchdown run. Will Scott caught a touchdown pass, and it was 14-12. They were always chasing that extra point that they had missed. But in the end, in the second half, the Brooks brothers took over. Dalton Brooks and Doug Brooks, absolutely spectacular, and the defense did what they do. They locked things down. Basically, they made one defensive adjustment. Hawley had to come out and throw the ball. Rhodey Hooper was throwing it, and they were getting single-man coverage on the outside because Daniel Boddicker was pretty clear. He's like, we need to stop the run.
Yeah.
We don't think that they can throw.
He told us that like 8 times.
We need to stop the run. Well, they were able to throw a little bit. They were able to throw a little bit and get something cooking. They made one adjustment where they started putting a safety over the top, and at that point it was kind of over. And Doug Brooks, what a way to cap a career.
He was so fun to watch.
I think you and I are both pretty honored to just be a small part of his pretty iconic Texas high school football career. So that was number 10. Number 9!
High snap, and the kick is blocked. Look out here on the block field goal. Here goes Gabe Watkins. Say goodnight to this one. Gabe Watkins brings back the block field goal, 85 yards for a go-ahead touchdown.
China Spring 31, Gilmer 7 in the 4A Division II state championship game. That play right there I think that was the most impactful play of the week.
Yes.
I think that was the game. I think that was the play that swung a game the most.
Yes.
Because at that point, it is 7-7,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the final play of the first half of a real nip and tuck kind of hard for both offenses to find their way type game.
Going into halftime, if we would have gone in with a kick right there, we would have
Even
had no idea who was going to win that game.
Here's the thing.
There was not a favorite.
Make or miss that kick. He could push
exactly.
that thing wide, and it's still like, all right, like save
All
guys
right,
ball
just
game.
collect, tie ball game,
But
whatever.
the blocked field goal and Watkins was something Watkins. Caleb Watkins.
Yes, I believe so.
Let me see. He deserves my respect.
Brian Bell took off down the sideline, like the look of shock of, oh my gosh, we can do this hit the moment that he ran that ball back.
I will make sure. Cole Watkins.
Cole, okay.
He returns it for a blocked field goal return for a touchdown on the final snap of the first half. And that makes it 14-7 China Spring, and China Spring never looks back. Major Bowden, that kid's a player. That kid's a bulldog. That kid, they over and over and over again asked him to run into a tough Gilmer front, and he was ready for more. He bounced up and was ready for it. The China Spring defense and their defensive team speed was the difference. They gave Gilmer one of the most high-octane offenses in 4A Division II. They gave them all sorts of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Gilmer did not have an offensive answer in this game. And in the end, their defense wore down. Major Bowden and that offense wore them down. He's a worthy offensive MVP. Trey Hafford from China Spring was the defensive MVP. I believe he had a couple of interceptions in this game. A remarkable victory for China Spring. Brian Bell and company bring home the victory. Another wild crowd. Mm-hmm. China Spring had a big crowd. This is a fun game until it wasn't, really.
Right.
Because, but that blocked field goal really changed the entire tenor
I would
of the
have
game.
loved to see what was said in that locker room because, man, they did not miss a beat from excitement when they came back out in the third.
They came out
never
and they
dove.
knew that was the moment.
Yep.
Anyway. Number 8.
Klubnik, he's got Greathouse wide open. This will be the third long-distance dial-up touchdown from Cade Klubnik to Jaden Greathouse, 71 yards.
Well, I'm not really sure where the eyes of Eli Bowen were on that play because he allows Greathouse to run by him. Take a look at Bowen out here. Oh, he falls down. I didn't see him fall down. And Jaden Greathouse just does what he does and runs down the field.
Austin Westlake 40, Denton Geyer 21 in the 6A Division II state championship game that closed out the weekend on Saturday night. We just talked with Coach Todd Dodge. We thought this was going to be a bad game.
Mm-hmm.
Plain and simple. We thought
we were going to end with a clunker.
We thought nobody could hang with Westlake. And let's take a moment and admire the game plan that Geyer and Coach Rodney Webb and his staff came out with.
Yeah.
It was terrific. They were able to run the ball on them. When Jackson Arnold was able to get a little something going on the ground, he was their most consistent weapon on the ground. And the defense forced a couple of turnovers and made this game close. Remember, Westlake had not trailed all season, and then they go and they're trailing at halftime.
Yep.
14-13. The second half, though, the defense put the clamps on, and the offense woke up. And the way the offense woke up was they were able to start running the ball a little bit, and Cade Klubnik, who missed a couple throws early, he locked in.
Yep.
He locked in. Jaden Greathouse was spectacular, set a 6A receiving yards record, and they pulled away. And another special teams play that I think may have been the biggest play of the game, which was it's late in the third quarter. Westlake is down 21-20, and they've got fourth and too long to go for it.
Yeah. I think it was 4th and 8.
Yeah. But it's in Geyer territory. It's in plus territory. And after, I think they call a timeout, and then they send Charlie Barnett, the kicker, out there for a 53-yard field goal. And I'm sitting going like, Todd, have you lost your mind? What are you thinking? Sure enough, Charlie Barnett bangs through a 53-yard field goal, and that was the last time they trailed. They get a stop. They go down, get a long touchdown pass to Jaden Greathouse. Another stop, get a long touchdown pass to Jaden Greathouse. At that point, it's 37-21, and it is church. They had a field goal late, and this is the highest scoring 6A team of all time. And the 5th highest scoring UIL Texas high school football team ever. The offense woke up, and the second half went the way that we thought the whole game was going to go.
Right. I was going to say 2 things here. One, it was funny when they went to line up to kick that because, one, Westlake doesn't have to kick field goals often. And so everyone was like, what in the world is he doing? And I was like, no, guys, wait a second. This kid has a leg.
I've seen this before.
I was like, this kid has, and I talked to, every time I talked to a coach, I asked him, how do you feel about your kicker? And Coach Dodge would just laugh and go, oh, confident. Like, there's no way we can't score with him. The other side of it that I wanted to give credit to for Denton Geyer is they had the blocked, I think it was a blocked punt in the first quarter that Westlake returns for the touchdown.
Westlake was up 6-0 before they even had an offensive snap.
Exactly. And so at that moment, we were like, all right, here it comes. And for Rodney Webb to not, one, to go out and have a good game plan, but to not let that first major mistake affect the way that the rest of that first half went. Because we always say, when you see the W walk out, you're already down 7, basically. Yeah. It's like they literally were down on 6.
They were intimidated.
And then,
but in the end, it was also about the front for Westlake. That they were harassing Jackson Earl. They sacked him 9 times. I mean, they were all over him.
Big.
They were so big and so fast, and in the end, all of that came together, and that is one of the 2 teams that we will have to have a larger conversation about where they fit in on the pantheon of all-time Texas high school football team, because that was a complete Austin Westlake team.
Did you see Ish's tweet about Great House?
No.
He said, well, they don't call him Pretty Good House.
Boo.
Yeah, I said someone should revoke his Twitter privileges.
Number 7.
Scoring offense in 3A Division I coming in. Second only to Brock. Hansen, the direct snap yet again. And pitching at the last second to Kason Pitts for the touchdown. Hansen at the last possible moment finding Pitts for the score. Punctuation for Lorena.
Well, one of the many great plays that this Leopards offense has had. Take another look here at Hansen. And it is at the last second, as you said, Ted, right before the knee goes.
Lorena 35, Brock 18, the 3A Division I state championship game. This game was all about the fact that Lorena was able to run the ball. Red Hansen, even without Reed Michna. Remember, Reed Michna did not play in this game.
Nope.
I saw Ray Biles in the morning, because this is a 3 o'clock game, right? Yeah, I saw him that morning on the concourse. They were there to watch kind of the first half of the game ahead of them. And I went up, I shook his hands, I said, hey, how healthy are you? And he said, well, the Michna kid's nicked up. He's going to try to go. We never saw him. He never played. Didn't matter. He's an outstanding football player, but Red Hansen was able to pick up the load. Lorena came out and threw the first punch and then the second punch. They took the ball, drove down and scored. And then they got a stop, went down, drove, and scored. Red Hansen a pair of touchdowns, and they were up 14-0. And at that point, it was kind of over. Now Brock came back. They actually got a pretty decent game, I thought, from Cutter Wilson.
Yeah, who we didn't even know if he was going to play or not because he went out in the semifinal in the first quarter.
But the front 7 for Lorena was so good in this game.
It was nuts.
And I really underestimated their team speed defensively. I really underestimated it. But they were all over Tyler Moody in the backfield, and they were flying the football. The other thing, they came out and they were fired stinking up.
Yeah.
That team played like their hair was on fire. They were really, they were not going to let this opportunity pass.
No.
And sure enough, the defense was spectacular in this game. And the offense, Red Hansen was great. And give some credit to the quarterback too. Ryan Abel was not asked to do a ton, but he stepped up when he needed to.
Yeah, most all of our highlights in the instant reaction were from the first half were literally Lorena's defensive line just murdering people in the backfield.
They were out there eating.
And how cool for Ray Biles too. I mean, that was awesome. There's
Ray Biles in his 30th year at Lorena gets his first state championship. What a remarkable victory for him. And it was funny because in the postgame, everyone was asking questions like, what does coach mean to you? What does it mean to do this for coach and stuff like that? And Ray Biles is like the most egoless man I think I've ever met.
So humble.
And he's like, oh, can you guys just stop this, please? Like, he is very clearly uncomfortable with all of this. Well, don't win a state championship if you don't want us talking about you, Coach.
Yep.
But you feel great for him. And by the way, like all the Central Texas coaches were down there because he's the dean of the Central Texas coaches.
Oh, yeah. They like the Godfather down there.
We got. I was up in a suite, and I'll blow up their spot. Up there were Kevin Hoffman and Don Hyde from Martin and Wicklow Vega, and they were making no bones about what they wanted to happen in this game.
Yes,
they were cheering openly because they wanted Ray Biles, who is the dean and is known as one of the classiest guys in Texas high school football, to get his, and he does in emphatic fashion. Lorena wins at 35-18. Number 6.
Front. Rennie with 2 wides to the left. Looking over the middle into double coverage. Tepper, it's caught. Drew Jones into the end zone. Touchdown, Stratford.
It's behind, but you've got your 2 defenders, safety ball, and it just drops over the top. That's about the...
Stratford 39, Falls City 27 in the 2A Division II state championship game. First of all, shout out our buddy Mike Leslie on the call there.
Yeah.
He stepped in and did that game, and he was excellent in it. This game was so weird. So weird.
It
because,
really was.
And here's why, okay? We knew that Stratford could throw the ball a little bit.
Yes.
They had done they made the state 7-on-7. It had been a point of emphasis for Matt Lovern to get his guys throwing the ball. They were always a hard-nosed running game. They wanted to throw the ball. Cody Rennie was excellent in this game. Excellent,
which is funny.
excellent.
Your key to the game in the picks video was Rennie on the run. Like, we expected him to just run all over everything.
Quarterback power.
And he did,
but here's the other thing. Falls City had thrown like 28 passes all year long. That's probably an overstatement. But they had not thrown the ball
Barely.
very much, okay? They averaged 3 completions a game, okay? And sure enough, they drop back, and it's suddenly the air raid Beavers. They're throwing the ball all over the yard, and they were pretty good at it. Luke Shaver threw for a pair of touchdowns. But in the end, this was a game that went to halftime at 21-13. 21-13, because Falls City was able to punch it in the final moments to make it 21-13. They had the lead, and then the biggest play of the game happened. Stratford was supposed to kick the ball off Falls City, surprise onside kick, and they get it.
Yep.
And from there, the wave started. Cody Rennie was excellent in the second half. The offensive line was excellent, and the defense stood on their head. They were fantastic. Drew Jones, who was awesome in this game, the wide receiver there for Falls City or for Stratford, he was great.
They kept showing his parents on the video board, and that was one of our favorite parts of the whole game. That was so cool to watch.
He was great.
He came up clutch when they needed him.
This was I don't know. I tweeted this out. I don't know what Matt Lovern told him at halftime, but bottle it up and sell it.
Yep.
Because that worked. They were awesome in the second half, and Stratford pulls away to win it 39-27. There in the fourth quarter, they pull away and win the ball game. Actually, they pulled. It was the whole second half. Second half, they outscored them 26-6.
Their capability to spread the ball around to so many different receivers was just really fun to watch.
And they did a great job really shutting down. Like, Falls City had to throw the ball because they couldn't run the ball.
Right,
which
exactly.
is really impressive. Stratford gets the win. Number 5.
Bailey with a lot of time. Going deep, and he's got Amador open. And Amador the catch for the touchdown. 39 yards. 1 strike. Down the middle. North Shore back in front.
What a great throw and a good way to execute this by Caleb Bailey. You got the play fake here almost inside, and then all of a sudden he sees Amador streaking behind the defense, and he lays it out there. A perfect thrown ball. Amador comes down with that huge touchdown here and puts North Shore up front.
North Shore 17, Duncanville 10. The 6A Division I state championship game.
Step called it. First 1 to 10.
John Kay is a damned wizard.
Yes.
This is his best coaching job. This is unbelievable. A freshman quarterback And all the guys they don't have. Zach Evans is not there. Shadrack Banks is not there. Demetrius Davis is not there.
That offensive line is smaller than it's
That
ever
offensive
been.
line had some pieces to work in.
Yep.
And to play bully ball against the ultimate bully ball team.
Yep.
And to win it is unbelievable. It is staggering. That man, John Kay, and his staff are unbelievable.
And you want to know what I think shows that so much? And it's not during the game. As soon as the game was over, they all went to the sideline to line up, put their helmets down, and start doing their little kick line that they do in the state championship game. Like, if that doesn't show what he does with that program, I don't know what does.
They knew. I mean, they knew it was going to happen. They were like, we got this. They were, because here's the thing. This is the third of a trilogy, right? North Shore's won all three of them. In 2018, it was a coin flip. I picked North Shore, but it was a coin flip type game. In 2019, I think North Shore was favored because Jaquindon Jackson was out.
Yes.
If he had not been out, closer to a coin flip, maybe lean Duncanville. They were underdogs this year.
Absolutely.
Duncanville was the clear favorite in this game. And they bowed up to one of the most physical defenses in the state with a freshman quarterback, and their own defense was relentless. Chris Ross and and Ronald Wilson and that front seven for North Shore was incredible. They were so good. They did not let Malachi Medlock beat them too much, and they made Solomon James's life hell.
They did.
That was a masterclass from John Kay and company. And by the way, that play, that throw from a freshman, that is a holy crap. That is a dime. That is a bucket shot.
Especially because he hit him in, I'm talking full stride. Like he ran into the wall and did a backflip because he was running so hard.
That was a big boy britches throw from a freshman in Caleb Bailey.
He's going to be dangerous.
Unbelievable. North Shore wins their third title in 4 years. Dynasty. That's what they are. They're a dynasty. Number 4.
14. Farrar. First down and more. How about a touchdown? Exclamation point for South Oak Cliff.
Bouncing out to the right, and this play has been open for the Golden Bears offense, and you see you've got big number 7.
South Oak Cliff 23, Liberty Hill 14. In the 5A Division II state championship game on Saturday morning. We can't talk about it without talking about the crowd because that elevated it.
Amazing.
It's the 10th largest crowd in Texas high school football history. More than 45,000 were on hand to watch it, and I think that's an undercount.
Yes.
The scene was amazing. Liberty Hill, what Kent Walker is doing there and carrying on the legacy of his brother Jeff is stupendous. I mean, they were the smaller team.
Yes, by a massive amount.
They were the slower team. They were the less explosive team. And that slot T offense, when we say the slot T's the devil, that's what we mean. Go back and watch.
It was beautifully done.
They're in that second quarter when they really started cooking, and you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to stink and do it. They're going to stink and do it. And they gave them hell. And the defense stood on their head, and they were able to keep South Oak Cliff down offensively for a large part of this game. There's 2 things I want to talk about here. There's 3 things I want to talk about here. There's a million things I want to talk about here. 1, Kevin Henry Jennings, the quarterback for South Oak Cliff, on 3rd and 4th down, money. Absolute cash. On 3rd and 4th down, they lose that game if he's not as good on 3rd and 4th down. And you want to talk about a stone-cold Iceman.
And he's done it all year long.
I talked with
all year long.
I'll just blow up his spot. I talked with Tim Buchanan from Aledo out there. He was there watching the Brock game on Thursday. I was chatting with him, and he told me I asked him, I was like, "Tell me about South Cliff." He goes, "That quarterback is a killer. That quarterback, when they need a play, he comes through."
Because he did it like in their game with Aledo. I was there, and in the second quarter alone, he did that at least 3 times.
Yeah, it was he was excellent. 2, the defense shut out Liberty Hill in the second half. Shut them out.
That doesn't happen.
No, and especially the way it looked like it was only building. Because, and I texted a coach who's very familiar with the slot T at halftime, and I go, "What's going on with South Oak Cliff?" And he sent me a text about some of the schematic things that they were doing wrong. He said basically like not lining up over the important blockers and things like that, those little things. He goes, and that's why they're gashing them, especially on weak power. They shut him out in the second half. A defensive masterclass from Jason Todd and his defensive staff. And third, who else do you want on the call for a big moment like that than Teddy Ballgame, than Ted Emmerich? A moment for them, a moment for South Oak Cliff, a moment for Dallas, a moment for inner city football, a moment I'll never forget. It was a goosebumps moment there as South Oak Cliff pulls away and gets the win.
With about 20-ish seconds left on the clock, there was going to be one more play, and then it was going to be ball game. When they showed Coach Todd down there, that was the moment that he let loose, and they showed him. They had him on the screen. I don't even know if they showed the last play, but he was looking into the stands. He was pumping his fist, and you could tell that he knew it meant so much more than just those guys on the field. It was awesome.
He had the Freddie James blow pop. It was a monumental moment there, and super stinking cool for South Oak Cliff to get the victory. Again, give a lot of credit to Liberty Hill. They gave them a lot of fits, but in the end, South Oak Cliff made the plays down the stretch and come away with their first state championship. Pretty darn cool. Great way to kick off Saturday.
My dad was, he texted me, he was in the very middle of the sock crowd because he wanted to just get the experience, and he texted me at one point in like the second quarter and goes, "It's a stinking party down here."
When Quaylen Farrar ran in for that touchdown that you saw, when he ran for the touchdown, that's the second loudest I've ever heard that building. It's not as loud as when Longview pounced on that fumble. That's still the loudest. That's the second loudest. Number 3.
Oop. Tap.
Pulls it down, and then it gets knocked out of his hands by Jimmy.
Westbrook 72, May 66, the 1A Division I state championship game. And that play, it seems like a small play. That's the ball game. That is 4th down, May throwing into the end zone for the win. And Jimmy Roberts Jr.,
the preseason Defensive Player of the Year in Dave Campbell's Texas football,
comes up with the play of the year.
It was amazing.
That's a touchdown. That's a state championship winning touchdown.
Not to mention
they saw the extra point, but still.
He single-handedly got the stop on third down. That was a 4th down play to win the game, and he got the stop on the 3rd down and then went and made that play for the 4th down.
These were 2 different games. This was one game for 30. There's 40 minutes in a 6-man game. This was one game for 32 minutes and a completely different game for the other 8. The first 32, this thing was back and forth. Cedric Ware for Westbrook was unbelievable. He was so good. The dual MVP, he was so good. Caden Hawk and Avery Williford were throwing haymakers at one another for May. They were going back and forth, big play after big play. This was a true 6-man shootout, back and forth. And in the final 8 minutes, it became tight.
Yep.
Okay? 72. May pulled within a touchdown, 72-66 with 8 minutes left in the game. Okay? The next drives, or the next few drives, let me see. They go turnover on downs, end of game. That was it. So basically, May got the ball, and they're like, we're going to milk the rest of this clock. We're going to milk the rest of this clock, and we're going to make you they had the ball for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which in six-man football is
eternity.
A ton.
Like, that's unspeakable.
But they grinded it out. They're like, we're going to beat you late. We're going to beat you late. And sure enough, Jimmy Roberts, they're thrown in the end zone. Jimmy Roberts Jr. comes away with the defensive play. The defensive play of the state championship games?
I think so. It
Has to
been.
be a remarkable.
Because all the other big plays were special teams oriented.
If you have never seen six-man football, or you know somebody who's never seen six-man football,
go back
show
and
them
watch
this game. Show them this game, and they'll be a fan. That is a perfect entree, and what a way to start it.
Yeah.
We made the comment, like, we'll take 11 more of these.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We did get a few more of them, though, including number 2.
Back come the Lions. Murphy has had the big night. Still going. Here he goes. Can you believe this? This is going to be an 86-yard touchdown run for Malcolm Murphy. And Murphy once more will get over and touchdown dance over on the sideline after the play is over.
Greg, I was about to ask you if Franklin was able to drive this ball down the field and get a 2-score advantage on this Gunter football team, would that be enough separation? Heck, they do it in one play. What a run.
Franklin 49, Gunter 35 in the 3A Division II state championship game, the Thursday night affair there at AT&T Stadium. This was a game where it was my most anticipated game of the week. And I love being right. And what I mean by that is I love getting excited for a game and being like, this game's going to be awesome. And telling everybody I know, Thursday night, clear your schedule. You got to watch Gunter and Franklin. Because this has happened a lot before. It's happened where you're like, this game's going to be great. You got to make sure you watch. Shiner Refugio is a perfect example.
Yes.
Shiner Refugio. Oh, guys, you got to stop down. You got to make sure you watch it.
Yeah, it's Thursday night. We got it on Texas Live.
It's going to be great. Make sure you watch it.
And then, no offense, it was a wet fart.
And then Shiners blew him out. I love whenever you recommend a high school football game to people.
And it lives up to the hype.
Yes.
That is one of the singular most exciting
things. It's such
things.
a joy.
It is.
Gunter was excellent in this game for 3 quarters. They were able to run the ball really effectively with Ethan Sloan, with Saul Rodriguez, who had one long run. Huck Graham was able to run the ball. Their offense was cooking, and what was interesting, we didn't know what kind of game this was going to be. We thought 2 great defenses could be a low-scoring game. 2 great offenses could be a high-scoring game. Ended up being that one. And this game went back and forth in a lot of ways with the 2 offenses just doing their base offense. And you started thinking, okay, well, who's going to get a stop then? Who's going to come with the stop? Franklin, their slot T was humming. Was fantastic in this game.
Malcolm Murphy might have had the best singular performance out of the weekend.
He ran for 280 and 4 touchdowns.
It was insane to watch.
Bryson Washington ran for 165 and 3. He was his second leading rusher. Franklin ran for 523 yards on the ground, and they threw for, let me check my notes here.
Yeah.
0.
Literally didn't even attempt to pass.
They did.
Oh, that one.
They
attempted
3.
one. Yeah, okay.
They went 0 for 3. They went 0 for 3 on their passing. And in fact, we were up there in the booth, and I think it was Mike Craven. One of their passes fell incomplete, and he's like, I'm glad, because I don't want them to have 7 yards passing. It's better if they have 0.
Right. Ish made a great meme.
They're the first UIL state champion to win to win the state championship game with 0 passing yards since 2007 when Liberty Hill did it. And in the end, what this ended up coming down to, in my opinion, is that this was the first competitive fourth quarter Gunter ever played. And it was not for Franklin. No. Franklin had beaten Lorena in week 1, a win that aged very well. And they beat Wascom the week before, and they got pushed in the fourth quarter. Gunter had never been pushed in the fourth quarter. And one of these teams was going to have gas left in the tank, and it was Franklin. A remarkable game. A heavyweight slugfest, a tremendous ball game that lived up to every hype. Those were the 2 best teams in 3A Division II.
Yeah,
you
no
cannot
doubt.
convince me otherwise.
Hard stop.
Those are the 2 best teams. Franklin is now the highest scoring 3A team of all time. They're the 4th highest scoring UIL Texas high school football team of all time. And to do that to that team, that's the other team we really have to consider their place in the pantheon of Texas high school football.
Well, and that was the thing, too. Ish Malpal and I were at that game, the semifinal game against Wascom the week before, and we were like, after I got done talking to Fanning for BADII, we were like, oh my goodness, he wants this so bad. The way that things ended the year before last, there was no doubt in my mind that they were going to be the full game. They were going to be going.
And Franklin gets their first ever state championship. Coach Mark Fannin brings it home to Franklin. Just remarkable. And we thought that it wasn't going to get any better than that. Number 1!
2 yards from a state championship. Jacob Brown, the tailback. Ryan Del Cid, the fullback. First and goal at the 2 for Paetow. It is to Brown. Brown's across. The Katy Paetow Panthers are the 5A Division I state champions of Texas in overtime. One could hardly ask.
Katy Paetow 27, College Station 24 in overtime. Where do you even start? This was 2 teams taking tire irons to one another for 48 minutes, and it wasn't enough. And we needed an extra frame.
We needed
this,
and we wanted more.
This, in the trenches, in the tackling, in the blocking, this was gladiatorial stuff. These were 2 teams absolutely hammering one another over and over. This was big boy football.
It really was.
This was physical. This was angry. This was mean. This was awesome. College Station, on the first play from scrimmage, which is going to get forgotten forever. First play from scrimmage, Traylon Sewell takes off for an 80-yard touchdown, and we go, oh, boy.
It's on.
It's on.
Start your engines.
Katy Paetow claws back. The running game starts going. Guys like C.J. Dumas was very good. They ran the ball well with Jacob Brown. Brian Del Cid, was their fullback. He got their first touchdown. And the running game, I believe what Stepp said. When Stepp said that they were Katy and Baby Blue, they're Katy and Baby Blue. Hard-nosed defense, that same game plan, that same playbook of we're going to line it up, we're going to run it at you.
And we're going to wear you down.
And then we're going to run a little play action. And that was great. College Station, I thought Jet Huff was really good in this game.
Yes.
He made some big plays.
He picked up a couple more offers.
He was under constant harassment from this front from Paetow, and he made big boy throws. Marquise Collins
is a dude. I've been saying it the whole the whole playoffs. Is a dude. He played great.
Unreal. And here's where this game really got fun for me. Katy Paetow is up 21-14 with about 5 minutes left.
Yes.
5 minutes left. And Paetow decides to go for it on 4th and 11. They're on their own they're on 29. Too long to kick. Right? 39, 29.
Yeah.
29. And it's too far to kick. It's 4th and 14. And Paetow doesn't convert. College Station takes over. One play. Marquise Collins.
To the house.
A little wraparound counter. 71 yards. Ties the game up 4 minutes ago. Then, Paetow goes 3 and out. College Station gets the ball back, and I go, here comes the hero drive. Here it comes. Paetow's defense stands tall. We go to overtime. College Station held to a field goal. Paetow gets the ball. Paetow starts driving. They're down 3 in the second part of overtime. Mm-hmm. It's 4th and 1 at the 3. Well, actually, let's back up because they got held to 4th and it was like 4th and 4.
Yes.
And they're lining up to kick a field goal.
And it was going to be, it was not a gimmick field goal. 35, 36.
In high school, it is not automatic.
No. It wasn't astronomical, but it was not a given.
And College Station jumps off sides.
Mm-hmm.
First down for Paetow. Then they get 4th and 1 at the 3. Mm-hmm. And this is the play everyone's always going to talk about. C.J. Dumas quarterback sneak.
Yes.
First of all, shout out B.J. Gott for going for this. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing. He knows if we get this yard, we have 1st and goal at the 2, and there ain't no way they're stopping us 3 times.
No, you've got 4 tries.
And you can always kick a field goal from there if you need to.
Yeah.
But there ain't no way they're stopping us 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, this is our state championship moment. If we get this first down on 4th and 1 at the 3, we're going to win a state championship.
Yes.
So a lot of credit to him because I think that's the right call.
Absolutely.
They run the quarterback sneak with C.J. Dumas. He gets a push from behind. I'll be honest. This is me. Live, as it's happening, I thought the spot was good.
Yes.
I thought it was a good spot. I thought the officials got it right. Live.
They bring out the chains.
They
say you're good.
You're good.
It's
a first down by about 3-4 inches.
Yeah, it was
very
basically
close.
from the white to the nose of the ball.
Very close. They go to replay. Upon replay, do I think C.J. Dumas got it? I don't know. It's close. It's real close.
But we don't know because you can't see it from the camera angle. His back is completely at the camera angle no matter where you were at. You cannot tell from a replay.
And here's the thing. As soon as they went to replay, and I'm standing with Patrick Wojtrowski, our producer, who of course is in the television business. He understands cameras and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he turns to me like, "There's no way they can overturn this.
No,
there can't
because there has to be clear evidence,
clear and convincing evidence that you have to overturn it. Was he short? We'll never know. We'll never know. And I think reasonable people can disagree. But they get the first down. A play later, Jacob Brown runs in, and Katy Paetow is your state champion in an instant classic, a whale of a ball game, a spectacular game.
Not to mention
2 teams of Warriors going at it on the biggest stage in the final Friday night game of the year. Just sensational.
Not to mention, these are
football.
2 teams that have not even been around a decade.
Yeah.
So that was really cool to see.
A game nobody deserved to lose.
No. Yeah.
Nobody deserved to lose.
That's one of those where you see the College Station players after the game just sitting there and your heart
hurts
aches for them because they played
a whale of ball.
So great.
What a game. The best game of the weekend. Katy Paetow over College Station. And what a weekend it was at AT&T Stadium.
Thanks so much for watching that video. If you would like more and to be notified when they come out, go ahead and click that subscribe button right down there. You can also watch Texas Football Today every day live at noon on TexasFootball.com, Facebook, Twitch, and right here on YouTube. For more of the best coverage of Texas football in the Lone Star State, go to TexasFootball.com/subscribe.